Hi, Thrivers! Welcome back to Thriving in Spain, the podcast where we get real about the emotional roller coaster of living abroad. This is Vero, your favorite ontological coach and someone who knows what it's like to feel absolutely fried after trying to be your best self in another language. Let me take you back. So, I was at a restaurant in the US with my in-laws, and it was our very first dinner together. So, of course, I wanted to make a good impression. I wanted to get to know them, connect, show them who I am, share a few laughs, just be me, but in English. And oh my God, I was exhausted. Like brain fried, checked out, smile, exhausted. The kind of tired that makes your eyes glaze over, even when you're nodding politely and trying to keep up. This feeling, right? And it didn't stop there. For a while, just being around English speakers, even people I liked, meant I needed 2 naps a day. And I'm not kidding. My brain and my nervous system was just done. Wiped out from all the listening, the thinking, the translating, and the trying to seem normal when I wasn't feeling that normal anymore. Can you relate? Whether it's English, Spanish, or other language, being in a second language while also trying to connect emotionally is no joke. And when you add cultural expectations, background noise, fast talking, and our own inner pressure to show up perfectly, no wonder why we check out. In today's episode, we are unpacking why this happens, what's underneath that social exhaustion, and how to take care of ourselves without guilt. Because you're not lazy, you're not antisocial, and you're definitely not broken. You're just human, and your nervous system and your brain is trying to tell you something. So let's dive in. What is that exhaustion trying to tell you? From ontological perspective, we look at 3 domains of the self: body, emotion, and language. And this kind of tiredness is not just physical, it's existential. And your body is probably overstimulated, noisy room, new faces, social pressure. Your emotions might be moving through anxiety, self-doubt, even shame. And your internal language, it's often running scripts like, oh, I should be more fun, or I'm not following fast enough. They might think I'm boring. And this is what we call internal colonization. When your own voice gets overpowered by cultural expectations you've internalized. Even when no one is judging you, you might be judging yourself through the lens of an invisible standard. One you didn't choose, but inherited. And the result, you disconnect, you check out, you leave the room emotionally before you even leave physically. And it's not because you're rude or distant. It's because some part of you is saying, I can't keep performing. I just need to be. Now, let's talk about Spain. I love my country, the passion, the food, the warmth. But let's be real, it's freaking loud. And social life happens in groups for hours. In Spain, silence is almost suspicious. Leaving early can feel rude. Sobremesa isn't just an after-dinner chat. It's almost a ritual, a commitment. And let's be real, one you might not always have the energy for. Maybe you don't want to commit to stay 5 hours, 6 hours, If you're more introverted or sensitive to noise and stimulation, or if you're just tired, Spanish social norms can feel overwhelming. And if your identity is still adapting to this culture, there is often this deep ache of, will I ever truly belong here? But let me say this clearly. You're not failing, you're adapting. And that's okay. And here is where it gets really ontological. Language is not about a tool for communication. It's a home. And when you're not speaking your native language, you're not at home. At least at the beginning of the language journey, you feel kind of awkward, weird. I don't know, you cannot tell that you're being yourself. But in coaching, we say we speak to create our world. But what happens when you don't have the exact words to say what you feel? Or when the rhythm of the group conversation doesn't leave you space to find them, That's when many people, like many of us, freeze. And it's not a conscious choice. It's the body saying, I'm not safe to express myself here. I'll wait until I can come as the better version of me with a smart sentence or a smart opinion, whatever. And this is where we begin to confuse language fluency with emotional fluency. But they're not the same. You can know how to say something and still feel like you can say it, especially when you're tired, overstimulated, or stuck in self-judgment. Checking out is often the only way your system knows how to regulate. And hey, it worked. You're here. You made it through dinner, and that's already a win, right? Now, here's the thing. I recently had a student tell me this. Yeah, I totally check out from conversations with my Spanish friends, but I don't feel guilty about it. And honestly, I love that because it reminded me not everyone carries the same story about presence and performance. And in ontological coaching, we talk about the observer you are, meaning the way you see the world based on your past, your culture, your beliefs, your identity. So some people were raised in environments where checking out equals disrespect, but others were raised to value individuality, to honor their needs, to not overextend. So if you feel guilty, like some people often do, that's part of your observer. It's not right or wrong, it's just the lens you're using to interpret the experience. And if you don't feel guilty, that's also your observer. Maybe your background doesn't associate checking out with rudeness. Maybe you're more practical at self-protection, or maybe you're just really good at giving yourself permission to tap out. And to be honest, I admire that. The point is not what you feel. The point is to notice it, listen to it, and choose how you want to relate to it. And that's the ontological path. Okay, this week I want you to practice radical self-awareness after social events in Spain. Before and after each get-together, ask yourself, how present did I feel? How tired I am now? And what did I need that I didn't give myself? And here's the kicker. Say no once. Leave early once. Or pause mid-conversation and give yourself a few seconds to come back to your body. Try it. Let it be imperfect. And remember, you're not too sensitive. You're not bad at Spanish. You're not weird for needing alone time. You're simply living a bilingual life in a high stimulation culture while being a deeply emotional, thoughtful human. So honor that. And if you want support untangling the judgment from the truth, if you want to feel more grounded, more spacious, more you, I'd love to help. You can book a one-on-one coaching session with me in English or Spanish. Just go to thespanishontheroad.com. And until next time, remember, you're not surviving, you are thriving.